All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, in Proverbs, the 29th chapter and the 20th verse, it tells us, see thou a man hasty in his words, there's more hope for a fool than for him. Meaning what? If you're somebody who just runs off at the mouth for any little reason, you don't know what you're talking about, and you allow your emotions to lead you astray, it's going to lead to you putting yourself in very, very bad positions because you're not cognizant of the repercussions of what you say. Your words are very, very powerful. And Draymond Green has no understanding of that. And it's because, once again, he's a mama's boy. He was never raised in a household with that patriarchal energy that is supposed to teach you how to balance out your emotions from what is going on around you. You have to be able to assess what's going on around you. And if Kevin Durant should decide to leave, Draymond Green is going to get the blame for that, whether he likes it or not. People are going to say it's Draymond's fault that Kevin Durant left. And it's all because of this moment that occurred in that game against the Clippers. Because it was totally uncalled for. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Hey, Kevin, have you and Draymond been able to hash anything out?
No. These things do happen a lot within teams. Guys go at it. But this one did escalate.
Every team that I've ever been on, things have happened.
Right, things have happened. But, I mean, let's be for real. On how many teams has there been a situation like this where the best pure scorer in the NBA is calling for the basketball in a crucial moment, and a role player, although a prominent role player, decides not only that he's going to curse that top level scorer out, but he's going to bring up his contractual situation? Makes no sense whatsoever. And I'm already on record as stating that, you know, both Kevin Durant and Draymond are mama's boys. They have an issue being able to properly calibrate their emotional state. It is what it is. I've seen great strides in growth from KD over the last 2 years or so I have to give him a certain amount of credit for that. Last year, he was really going off the hinges, and I think that this year he's been much better overall. So I have seen growth from him. In regards to Draymond, I think that Draymond is just going to be who he is. And unfortunately for Draymond, eventually he's going to run into somebody who's not going to tolerate his mess, and things are probably not going to end very well for him.
The organization essentially siding with Kevin Durant over Green. And so what are the ramifications going?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that the Golden State Warriors sided with KD over Draymond. I mean, you could say that, but really what Golden State is doing is trying to protect Draymond from himself while also trying to show Kevin Durant that we, quote unquote, have your back. We're not going to allow this guy to bully you anymore. But Golden State knows they need Draymond. There's not a player in the NBA who can replace what he does. Not one. Not Boogie Cousins, not anybody else. Draymond Green is the guy who runs their offense for the most part. He also runs their defense. Can DeMarcus Cousins do that? I seriously doubt it.
Going to be
At the end of the day, we're on the same team with the same goal, and I don't think either of them will lose sight of that. We got a long season ahead.
So here's the deal. As of yesterday, Kevin Durant has yet to clear the air with Draymond Green, and this won't make things any better. According to The Athletic, one anonymous Warriors player says that Durant is as good as gone after this season. Stephen A.
Right, but I mean, we pretty much know who that is. That's either Sean Livingston or that's Andre Iguodala. Most likely Iguodala because he's the one who likes to run his mouth.
Stephen A. If KD bounces, how much of the blame would you put on Draymond Green?
Pretty close to none.
I don't think that it matters how much blame will be put on Draymond by a pundit like Stephen A. Smith. For the most part, there is going to be a correlation that is concocted or created by the masses, by the fans, that Draymond is the one who pushed KD over the edge.
And the reason why I say that is because Kevin Durant arrived in the summer of 2016 free agency after losing in Game 7 to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And the super liberal mainstream sports media, they're loving this right now because they've been trying to push KD out of Golden State for the last 2 years. So they're loving this. They're gonna run this storyline through the mud. But once again, for Draymond to say what he said and explode like that, it's very obvious that he's heard through the grapevine that not only is KD leaving, but Draymond, I think, knows what team he's going to.
He was recruited primarily by Draymond Green, who got the others involved, and the Hampton Five showed up in the Hamptons to convince KD to come to Golden State, even though Jay-Z and them played a role in that as well. Having said all of that.
Yeah, having said all of that, once again, when I see this situation, it reminds me so much of a bully and the bullied. A bully starts to take for granted that the person that they're bullying or that they're using is always going to make themselves available to be a servant. And when the bullied finally starts to rebel, it's a traumatic event, not just for the bullied person, but also for the bully. Because the bully finds an identity. They find a sense of self by being able to mentally and physically dominate somebody else. So when that person starts to rise up, the bully starts to lose a sense of identity. They're like, what's going on here? This is a paradigm shift that I'm not prepared for and that I cannot allow to happen. So to make a long story short, Draymond Green always looked at Kevin Durant as somebody that he could mentally manipulate, even while he was in OKC. So when he was able to influence Kevin Durant to come to Golden State and to bring his great talents to the team, Draymond had to act as the guru, as the Svengali over Kevin Durant. They were never friends, ever. And it's becoming more and more apparent to KD and also KD's brother. But now Draymond is scrambling because of the things that he's heard. No doubt in my mind, Draymond's heard something that he feels like has substance in regards to KD. And he feels betrayed by it. And now he's going to try to let it all hang out and embarrass KD over the course of this season. Because Draymond's like a chick, man. He's like a chick that found out that her man was cheating. And they live together. When he comes home, she gonna bust him over the head with a frying pan. She's not gonna be like, I heard something. She's just gonna go ham. That's Draymond. It's like the film Back to the Future. Remember Biff, when the film first started, Biff and George McFly were older. And Biff still had George McFly doing his work for him. They both worked at the same corporation. And then Marty goes all the way back in time and he sees that Biff was bullying his father from back in high school. So the paradigm shift occurred when George McFly had to knock Biff out. And that's what happened in that game. Draymond is so shocked. He can't believe it. He can't believe that Kevin Durant spoke to him like that.
Let's understand something here. KD signed a 1+1 year deal. You understand? He never signed a long-term deal.
We already anticipated.
Obviously, the free agency situation comes up and puts you in a position where you can get more money from the team that you elect to stay, or you have the freedom to go elsewhere.
And that's my thing. KD is already on record as stating that he's going to go where the money's at. That's what he stated earlier in the season. Golden State can afford to pay him more money than anywhere else. So it's obvious to me that Draymond is emotionally triggered by something that he has heard from someone who he believes is a reliable source in regards to what KD's actually going to do. Or at the very least, this person, this plug, has convinced Draymond that KD's going to leave. Who that person is, to me, is obviously LeBron James. It's like the story of Othello. Othello's friend Iago was putting things in Othello's head about his wife. And eventually it led Othello to become so ferociously jealous and enraged that he killed his wife.
Where KD has positioned himself from day one on that level. KD has always had has always wanted to be in a situation where he wanted to be a free agent and he wanted the freedom to go where he wants to go. LeBron James popularized that years ago, and he's been doing it on several occasions rather. And KD and others have tried to follow suit whenever they can. To some degree, even Draymond Green has done that. Draymond Green wasn't interested in an extension with the Golden State Warriors because he knows that if he wins Defensive Player of the Year award and catch it and achieve some other high marks, that it would position him to potentially get a supermax deal or something close to it once free agency comes up for him. So understanding that reality, knowing that KD has entertained LA, New York, Boston, etc., and that his guy Rich Kleiman and all of these other guys have played a role in keeping him as marketable as possible and not really minimizing his maneuverability. That was a situation before this went down with Draymond, and I don't see Draymond as having anything to do with this. Now, this didn't help.
Yeah, we know that, but Stephen A. Smith, as you stated at the end, this doesn't help. It just doesn't help. It's like if you're working at a job, if you're working for McDonald's and Burger King is offering you the same position with a tad bit more in pay, same vacation, and it's just across the street. Now, if your coworkers find out or your manager finds out and they say, well, we don't really need you here anyway, that could be the tipping point, because maybe you were about to stay because you thought that your coworkers or your colleagues liked you. But you say, you know what, I'm going to go to Burger King and flip fries for them because they respect me more. That can be the tipping point. Nobody wants to be in an environment where they feel like they're not going to be valued. And for Draymond to basically regurgitate all the internet and the social media shit that Kevin Durant has been inundated with, knowing how sensitive he is to that, that tells me that Draymond himself is emotionally disturbed about this whole situation.
Please don't get me wrong. And the Warriors made the move to suspend Draymond because they got to be protective of KD and all their players in that regard. You can't have a player coming at another player like that, bringing up the contract in the huddle. But in the end, it comes down to the fact that this is something that KD has been thinking about for quite some time, long before this incident took place.
Oh, I give Draymond Green some blame if KD leaves. Absolutely.
Really?
You have to. You have to.
Really?
Because it's not just about what you do, it's about what you don't do. Draymond recruited. He was part of the recruiting effort for KD, right? He wants to bring him there. Now, at a certain point, I'll give you an expression my mother used to use.
He's the one that was communicating with KD.
Right. I'll give you an expression my mother used to use. Don't cut off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you're in my case, we can cut down the nose a little bit. It would do our face a favor. But the point is, don't you don't stand on principle. I'm going to show my face, I'll cut off my nose. It doesn't help you.
Yeah.
Whatever principle Draymond thinks he's standing on, it's not just what he said to KD. It's not just if he's kind of neutral with KD. Why, we only want people who want to be here, brother. You are not just winning championships, you're making a mockery out of competition in the...
I agree, but you have to understand something, Max Kellerman. Draymond Green is an agent of chaos. That means what? Whenever there's a level of placidity or calmness in the environment, the agent of chaos will look for any moment to cause anarchy. That's what they do. So when you see people like a Draymond Green and Odell Beckham, the next event is always around the corner. The next eruption is on its way. It does not matter how great you think things are going. And that's the bottom line to that.
In the league with KD on your team. It's not just about what you do, it's about what you don't do. You need to be making this a positive, welcoming environment for...
You also have to understand something else. Draymond Green is a woke Negro. So woke Negroes have been convinced that whatever their emotions or their feelings tell them, they just go with it. Never apologize. Don't be recalcitrant in many of the more odious things that you allow to come out of your mouth, because if that's how you felt, that's how you felt. Your feelings are always correct. No, your feelings are not always correct. Especially when you're working in a social environment, you have to be cognizant of the quote-unquote feelings of other people, their situations, and what they're going through and how it relates to your own success. And if you can't understand that, that means that you're not mature enough to be in a leadership position. Once again, the architecture of the Golden State Warriors is so strange because their best player is not their alpha and he's not their face. Kevin Durant is neither one of those things. Their face is not necessarily their most naturally gifted player, that being Steph Curry, even though it's close. And their alpha is Draymond Green, and he's not being led by patriarchal energy. He's being led by feminine energy. So that's why this team oftentimes, because they have such tremendous overall ability, and they have a coach who knows how to moderate a lot of that energy and that tempestuous aspect of their team, and a Steve Kerr, they can make it work. But after a while, I mean, it's going to start to fracture. And that's what we're seeing right now.
For KD, well, they don't do that with me. They don't do that. You ain't KD. Wherever LeBron James plays, he's doing that team a favor. It is a favor LeBron is doing your city when he comes to play for you. He did Cleveland a favor by going back there. He did Miami a favor. They just say thank you and move on. He's doing LA a favor right now. Wherever he goes, that team, whatever it takes to keep him there, that's what you do, because he has that kind of an impact on wins and losses. That's KD.
Not quite. I wouldn't put KD in the class of LeBron James when it comes to impact. As a matter of fact, as I've stated, I think that KD is going to find out, depending on where he goes, that he needed Golden State as much as they needed them. And after a while, and I say this all the time, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you guys are more concerned with making sure that the other person knows how quote-unquote blessed they are to be with that other person, your relationship is not going to work. That's like that 50-50 mentality. Oh, the relationship is 50-50. No, it's not. It's 100-100. You have to be there and always be doing your part and not be looking for any type of quote-unquote compensation for the good things that you do, because whatever you do, and whatever rapport that you have with another person, whether it be your significant other or your colleague at work or your family member, is going to come back to you, because energy is never lost. It just transfers. So when you put out positive energy, you're going to get that back. All right? If you're doing things for the sake of everything germinating in a positive way, it's going to come back to you. When you're in a rapport like this where everybody's more concerned with showing, look, you should be thankful that you're here, or you should be thankful to have me, in the long run, it's not going to work.
So Draymond, it's not just about, well, he should be able to take it, or I'm not doing anything to push him out. What are you doing to keep him there? That's the question.
I agree. But I think that Draymond believes that Kevin Durant, since he's joined a team that's about to win 3 straight titles, most likely in dominating fashion, that he should not have to recruit Kevin Durant to stay, that the results should speak for themselves. And if you feel that way, cool. But then just stay cool. Don't explode over nonsense in the huddle. You have to learn how to communicate. People don't know how to communicate in this society because, once again, they're taught that the only thing that matters is their feelings. That's part of the narcissistic programming that so many people are put through in this society today. They're not taught about how what they do is going to affect the collective, and how important it is to grasp that, to keep the rapports and the dynamics between you and somebody else as positive as they need to be. They just taught, you know what, however you feel, just go with it. That's fine. And then they wonder why they end up by themselves.
You recruited him. What are you doing to keep him?
Well, first of all, winning championships will go a long way. Don't get me wrong. We all know that KD is the reigning 2-time NBA Finals MVP. But those other guys doing their job help. You don't get to sit up here, Max, and praise and laud the fact that Draymond Green is that utility guy, the ultimate utility guy. He's so integral and so important to this team's success last week, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, and then sit here today and say, what did you do? He's doing his job. That's number one. Number two, you got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, greatest shooting backcourt we've ever seen. Number three, according to what I heard, just to get some information here, the thing that ticked Draymond off was that when KD walked to the bench, KD slammed his hand on the chair demonstratively, screaming at him, why didn't you give me the damn ball? And he felt disrespected, so he came at KD like that. That's what they're saying.
Reasonable.
The bottom line is...
Well, not really reasonable. It depends on how Kevin Durant came at him. If he slammed his hand and said, why didn't you give me the damn ball? To me, that's not that big a deal. Because if Kevin Durant exploded over something like that, everybody would be talking about how sensitive he is. You know, there's this notion in the media that if you're not willing to put up with verbal abuse from somebody, it's because you're sensitive. No, you should not be willing to put up with verbal abuse from anybody. People have to learn how to communicate. At the end of the day, Draymond Green styles himself as the leader of the Golden State Warriors. So if he sees that Kevin Durant is upset, he's supposed to know how to approach him and tell him why he did what he did and why he was either right or acknowledge that he was wrong, and that in the future he's going to get KD the ball. It's not that big a deal, but when you explode like how he did in response to what KD did, to me that nullifies you as being an appropriate leader. That's why you see that, according to reports, Draymond ran to Steph Curry's house in the aftermath of that, because Steph Curry is the calming factor. He's the one who, quote unquote, has all his shit together in regards to his family life, etc. So they look to him for inspiration. How valid that is, that's another video for another day. Point being is this: Draymond, because he has the strongest personality, has been allowed to lead or to act as the galvanizing force. But he's not judicious enough to know how to speak to people in a way that can alleviate bad situations like this. Especially when you should be cognizant of what Kevin Durant's free agency scenario is right now. Kevin Durant is a beta. He's not a leader. So they could have still had a chance to woo him and bring him in, especially with their success, if everybody would have walked the line. But with this occurrence, that's not going to happen. I just don't see it. I mean, they're going to have to really blow teams out in the playoffs, in my view, for Kevin Durant to even consider coming back.
Regardless, let me say this, regardless, you don't bring up the man's contract. That's my position.
He made it personal.
That's what did that. Even if you could make it personal without...
No, he made it past personal. He made it toxic.
Without bringing up the contract. You bring up the contract, that's the whole point. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're basically chiding him because he hasn't committed long term to the team. Now, we also understand, because all over the last few days is all been, this is before they went down with Draymond Green. I'm hearing KD is out. KD's gone. KD doesn't. Now the Warriors swear that's not true. They believe they have a very legitimate shot at keeping KD. They don't believe KD's going to go anywhere.
That's because the Warriors know they're going to throw the house at KD, and on top of that, they're probably going to try to assist KD in making some level of business connection in the Bay Area. But yes, I believe that KD is out, and I believe that Draymond Green knows that KD is out. And beyond that, Draymond knows where KD is going.
I'm telling you, I'm hearing KD is gone. Now, I haven't been able to confirm this part that I wanted to tell you, Max. I haven't been able to confirm this part. I heard one of the things that KD said while walking back on the court.
I saw it on video.
Because Draymond was talking to him. He said, F it, I'm out of here anyway.
I read KD's lips. Everybody made such a huge deal about that situation. I didn't see that at all. I did not see KD state, that's why I'm out, or F this, I'm out anyway. I didn't see that. But I mean, even if he did say that, oh well. It is what it is.
I thought he said, "This is why I'm out of here."
Yeah. This is why.
Yeah. You could lip read. Right. This is why I'm out of here.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, this is my point. Mm-hmm. If you
exactly, to me, that cements Max Kellerman and myself's point. That being that if KD does leave, you do have to blame Draymond a little bit.
If you believe KD is gone, well, then you just give up on no. If you really think he wants to leave, then Draymond and everybody else, if you want to keep winning championships, you do everything in your power to make sure he stays. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. Without KD, they're still a powerhouse team. They'll be really good and all that. They ain't dominating the league like this. Those days are over without KD. Mm-hmm.
It depends on who they can replace KD with. If KD leaves their team, no matter where he goes, whether it's to the Lakers, the Clippers, the Knicks, or whoever, if Golden State is able to replace him with a player on the level of a Kawhi Leonard, somebody along those lines, to me, they will still be the front runners to win the championship.
Put them over the top.
Right.
Now, especially when you look at, it's not just in the Western Conference right now, where the Celtics are and where they're going, where Toronto is and where they're going. You look at Milwaukee, maybe there's a chance for Philadelphia. It's a whole lot different nowadays. It's not just like, well, the Warriors, well, the West can't stop them now. The Rockets got a little worse, whatever else. Warriors get to the finals and kill everyone. Take KD off that team? I'm not so sure. What is Draymond doing to keep him? That's the issue.
And I guess what I'm saying to you, Max, is it legitimate to ask the question, what could Draymond or anyone else have done to keep him? Because if coming into the season this was his attitude, then that means you're Draymond and you already got an attitude with him because you know he's already gone.
Well, if I'm Draymond, I want to keep him. I'm like, brother, whatever. Like, think about how Wade and LeBron treated each other.
Wait a minute. I understand that, and I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is I'm coming back to you with a question. What if you're Draymond and you've already done that? And you know for a fact that this man is about to leave you.
That's obviously what the situation is. It's very, very clear to me, especially with the way in which Draymond was so hesitant to acknowledge that he was culpable in anything in regards to saying something inflammatory towards KD that was unjust or undue. Draymond is rooted into his stance or his perspective that KD is out and that he has 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And beyond that, I think that Draymond knows what team that KD is signing with. I keep saying that because it's obvious to me that it's another level to the antipathy between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant. He knows where KD's going.
They haven't publicized it, but you know.
Or at least he thinks he knows.
You know. Now what do you do?
Well, I'll tell you what. I was doing Sports Nation, Stephen A., with my boy, Marcellus Wiley.
Your brother. Your brother.
We were at school at the same time at Columbia.
And Michelle.
He's one of my boys, but he's your brother.
We did the radio together for 5 or 6 years, 5 hours a day, 4 hours a day. We did a TV show for 3 years together.
Y'all were married.
And then it turns out that I had the opportunity to come do First Take with Molly Karam and Stephen A. Smith. Mm-hmm. What do you think Marcellus told me?
Go for yours.
Right, but you have to understand something, Max Kellerman. Marcellus Wiley's a grown man. You're a grown man. Can we say that about Draymond Green and or Kevin Durant? That's been my entire point for this entire time. That the both of them, to me, were already predetermined to explode, to detonate. because they're both products of that matriarchal environment.
Go for yours.
But beyond that, you do what you got to do. Right. And your boy tells you do what you got to do. And what is the message KD is getting?
Listen, I am not taking sides because to me, I get it. But what I'm saying to you is let's ask ourselves this question. If you're looking on it just on that premise, cool. Here's the problem. You in OKC. You admired in purgatory in your mind because you didn't want to be partnered with Russell Westbrook any longer. You're looking for a way out. Y'all lose in the conference finals game 7. You sit up there and the Golden State Warriors are champions. They just lost in the NBA Finals after 73-9 season after Adam Silver gave the Cavaliers that stimulus package by suspending Draymond Green for that game because they would have.
Well, actually, Draymond Green gave the okay for Adam Silver to give the Cleveland Cavaliers that stimulus package.
They would have won it at 5, but that's neither here nor there. So what happens? You go and you recruit KD. He comes here. He's been searching for that championship. We win the championship first year. We win this championship the second year. We're rolling. We're about to three-peat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And even before this season, you talk about you want out. I'm saying to you, I don't blame KD for that. But Draymond and others might feel a bit differently. When LeBron left Miami, D-Wade was his brother. Totally understood. You know how long it took Pat Riley to get over that? Because Pat Riley didn't feel LeBron owed him something because he came to Miami and won championships. Pat Riley was looking at the LeBron James.
What type of stupid ass dance is this dude doing? What the hell is going on here?
Who departed from Cleveland, the state of mind that you had at that particular moment in time, and what the organization, in concert with himself and D-Wade, did for LeBron. And even though
he has a right to feel,
and I believe he was wrong, but what I'm saying is that's how he felt.
That's ex post facto. That's after the fact. But Riley didn't push him out the door.
Not at all.
Riley didn't do things to make it less desirable for him to stay.
Well, you could argue that one could say that Pat Riley could have made things more amenable for LeBron James's crew. We know for a fact that Riley did not allow a lot of the shenanigans that LeBron James likes to have as part of the LeBron James experience. Pat Riley did not want to have LeBron James's crew have the best seats in the house or certain seats nearby the bench. Supposedly, I remember Stephen A. Smith saying something like that. So, no, Pat Riley, he also kind of sort of told LeBron James, you can have a nice day, without saying so.
Pat Riley did whatever was in his power to let LeBron know we want you here.
That is true, but the flip side is because LeBron at the time didn't let it be known that he was returning to Cleveland.
Absolutely. And that's what Pat Riley took for granted. Pat Riley thought that LeBron James was going to look to him as a faithful employee and say to himself, LeBron James, I'm talking about, I know that Pat Riley's going to do what needs to be done to refurbish the team and put us back in position to compete for an NBA title. Pat Riley did not know that LeBron James was going through another ritual where he was going to head back to Cleveland.
If, and I'm saying if because I don't know, but if KD somehow has made it clear in his own way to Draymond and I don't want to be here any longer.
But why? My point is why. That's something to do with the locker room.
What I'm saying, no. It could be that he just has business interest, Max. It could be something else.
Right.
It could be him not wanting to be second fiddle anymore.
Okay, fine. So
it could be that.
If it's
well, now listen to what Stephen A. Smith stated. Stephen A. Smith stated that KD could be leaving because of business interests. Well, where would he go that would afford him more business interest in the Bay Area? Most likely either LA or New York. Stephen A. Smith is also stating that KD does not want to be second fiddle anymore. I think that would be a major mistake because he is a beta. He's not an alpha. He's not an alpha. And the only thing that KD is going to find out is how much more difficult it is for him to go in between the legs 500 times and do those long, high crossovers on a team where you don't have the shooting that you have in Golden State.
If it's something like that, then what's incumbent upon the team and his teammates to try to dissuade him is to at least say, brother, you got to do what you got to do. We understand. Right. But we want to let you know through behavior and through what they say, you are wanted here.
And I'm saying
let's at least make this hard for you to make that decision.
I agree.
Listen, and I'll end it by saying this. That's a valid point. But one, you can make the argument that they already did that. I remember when Larry Brown was coaching the Detroit Pistons, and Joe Dumars was like, what the hell do you want me to do? The man flies on jets. He gets $6 million a year. He gets everything he wants. What more? People ask that question.
We're out of time. This is a great conversation, and I think we need to continue it at some point. By the way, coming up the last half hour of the show, Steven's A-list on the top 5 destinations for one Kevin Durant. And also, of course, we have Warriors Rockets playing tonight, so we'll all be watching that and reacting to it right here, First Take.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see how things go with this Draymond Green and Kevin Durant situation. So peace.